In today's video, we're going to be looking at a real-world scenario involving a system of equations and interpreting different questions within the system or parts of the system. And we're going to take more look specifically at problems involving businesses or corporations or things involving money. So it says two charities are hosting fundraisers. Community Cares spend $10,000 on their event and are charging $150 per ticket. Helping families profit is modeled by the line below. In part A, we're going to graph a line that models the Community Cares profit. So we could just tell our y equals mx plus b equation right from looking at the problem, right? Community Cares spend 10,000, so that means they start off with 10,000. I'm going to use the comma. And they are charging 150 per ticket. That's my rate. So 150x is my rate. So that is my actually it's not plus 10,000. It's going to be, since they spent it, it's going to be minus 10,000. Now, let's try to graph that. We know where we start, right? Negative 10,000. So negative 10,000 starts right here, right? Where these are negatives, right? Now, it's tough graphing on this because the fact of the matter is that up one box doesn't mean you're going up one. It means you're going up. Between 0 and 5K is 2.5K. So it means you're going up 2.5K, and actually over is not one box, is you're going over 25, since that's in between 0 and 50. So it's kind of tough converting 150 as a slope instead of going up 150 to the right one, and then using these, I guess, intervals to kind of see where the next point is going to lie. So what I would do is I would just take a value on the x-axis and plug it in and see if you get a nice number that you can graph on the grid. So for example, I'm going to take a look at 50. All right. So what happens when I plug in 50 into my x, since that's my x value? This is the x-axis. That's the number of tickets. What do I get for y? So if I do that in my calculator real quick, 150 times 50 minus 10,000 is negative 2,500. And I can graph that point. That point is right. Let me do it in what color? Right here, 50, negative 2,500. Since this is negative 2.5K, right? All right, so I got my first 2 points here. I got this one and I got this one. Now I got to figure out the box scheme of how I get to those two red dots. So what's my rise over run? I go up 3 to the right 2. So my box scheme for this is going to be up 3 to the right 2 boxes. And so I keep graphing that up 3 to the right 2. And that's where actually they intersect, which is nice to know. Up 3 to the right 2, up 3 to the right 2. So eventually I can graph it all the way. I'm going to label this Community Cares, so CC, and connect these points. It's going to be tough to draw a straight line. All right, let's try it. No, it's ugly. I'm not going to focus too much time on trying to draw a straight line, since I don't have a straight line function on this software. Let's start down here. Kinda. There we go. That's as straight as it's going to get. All right, we do know that they intersect at this point right here, which is 105,000. So that means at 100 tickets, they both had a profit of 5,000. All right, now let's take a look at the helping families function rule. So the black line. So where does it start? It starts at right down here, negative 15,000. So my y equals mx plus b. All right, the b is negative 15,000. All right, now I got to figure out my m. What's my rise over run? So it's going up to the right one. So remember when we go up 2 boxes, when I go up 2 boxes, like I go up here, 0 to up 2 boxes is 5,000. To the right one, remember right one is 25. So it's 5,000 over 25. 5,000 divided by 25, when I put that in the calculator, is 200. So I have my function rule for A, I have my function rule for B. All right, now we want to determine when the helping families has earned 5,000 more profit than community cares. So helping families, I'm actually going to make a little mini equation. So I'm going to call helping families, in this case, H. And community cares, I'm going to call C. So my mini equation, when helping families has earned 5,000 more than community cares, my mini equation is going to be H equals 5,000 more than, so has, remember, it is equals 5,000 more than community cares, which is C. So that's like my little mini equation. Now I use my function rules to plug in for H and C. All right, so I'm going to make a line all the way down. My H, which is helping families, here's my function rule for H, 200x minus 15,000. I don't need the y equals. My C, which is over here, 150x minus 10,000. All right. Don't forget the plus 5,000 at the end. All right, this right here, you can't forget that. All right, now we solve this equation knowing what we know on how to solve algebraic equations. So we have combined like terms first. There's no like terms on the left side. On the right side, we have negative 10,000 plus 5,000, which is negative 5,000. I'm going to bring everything else down. 200x minus 15,000. 150x minus 5,000. All right, then what I would do next is I would minus 150x from both sides. And you get 50x minus 15,000 equals, bring down the negative 5,000 is negative positive. Yeah, it's negative. Yep. All right. Now, what do I have to do? I have to try to do this in a different color. Let's do it in this nice shade of purple. Plus 15,000 to both sides. I'm going to write it over here. So we get 50x equals negative 5,000 plus 15,000 is 10,000. Divide both sides by 50. And you get X is 200. All right, let me double check. 10,000 divided by 50 is 200. 200 what? 200 tickets. All right, so these problems involve a little bit more in-depth thinking, especially when it comes to figuring out the slope, and adjusting your rise over run, which can get a little tricky. But you use the box scheme to definitely help you graph the lines when you're doing these problems. It can, like I said, it can get tricky when you're trying to figure out the rise over run. All right, so the next problem is very similar to this. I think it's involving negative slopes, so they're going down. So take a look at that problem, work on it, and if you have questions in class, let me know. Thank you.